Hello everyone, the numbers are in and it is time to report on the December 2023 as well as the year-end results for all of 2023 in the North Okanagan's real estate market, and we are starting now. I'm Lisa Salt with Remax Vernon Salt Fowler, and I'm here to bring you the super exciting insights on the Vernon, BC real estate market. We're going to focus on the latest statistics for December of 2023 and then for the entire calendar year. We're going to start with absorption rates for December and for the entire year compared to the previous year. Then we're going to move into the listings, we're going to move into the sales, we're going to talk about pricing, and then we're going to talk about our 2024 predictions for the market. Let's start by looking at that absorption for the different property types. Absorption, by the way, is a measure of supply and demand. Now that's why we always look at it in our stats report, and we look at it first by taking the number of homes sold in a month and dividing it by the number of homes on the market. You can get a percentage, and that percentage then determines how quickly homes are selling in that particular month. High percentages mean higher demand with more houses selling, and low percentages mean lower demand with less houses selling in a given month. I hope that makes sense. Apartments experienced a substantial decline in absorption rates from 23.21% in November to 5.77% in December. Steep decline. I mean, I know it's winter, I know it's Christmas and stuff, but geez, that kind of hurts when apartments were doing so well previously. Then just for fun, because stats are just so darn fun, let's compare to December of 2022. Apartment absorption was way higher, 31.58% actually. Much better performance in the apartment department last year. Apartment department, boy, that's kind of a tongue twister. Okay, townhouses. Let's talk townhouses. They followed a similar pattern, dropping from 17.65% to 7.14%. Last year, at the end of 2022, 22.22% absorption for townhouses. Not a great end for townhouses this year either. Land absorption showed a minor increase from 1.32% to 1.95% in December. And I can't give you a number for 2022. For some reason, there's no number for land absorption year-end 2022 December. Moving on, single-family homes maintained a relatively consistent absorption rate, going from 15.17% in November to 15.33% in December. Last year, 2022 December, 12.8%. So we have a winner. Nice job, single-family homes, outperforming year over year. Overall, and as expected, given those numbers, the whole market absorption decreased from 15.27% in November to 12.33% in December. Then when we compare to last year, year-end 2022, overall market absorption at 15.54%. Are we surprised? I mean, not really. We all know less homes were selling in 2023 than 2022, which was way down from 2021, and we know they were selling at a lesser pace. Let's shift our focus to listings. There was a substantial decrease in new listings in December, typical for winter, Christmas, etc. 130 new properties hit the market compared to the previous month, which was 213 listings. If you look at December 22, though, there were only 102 listings that came on the market. In that month, it was a lot tighter in December of 2022, and with that 130 new listings that were released into the marketplace in this December, that brought our total listings for the year on the market up to 999. Couldn't quite make 1,000, 999. That's down quite a bit from the 1,189 we had on the market in November. That doesn't mean there's been a huge surge in sales. Sorry, no, that's not it. That's not the reason. That's listings expiring from the market at a faster pace than new listings are being listed. Again, typical December. Last December 2022 ended at 815 total homes on the market in the North Okanagan. And what will happen is in January or maybe February, depending on the weather, we will see that number start to tick up and up again right into spring market. Looking at the entire year of 2023, in the whole year, there were 3,589 listings that entered the market. So 3,589. We're going to compare that to year-end 2022, where there were 3,713 listings that came on the market. I find that interesting because it felt to me that more properties were coming on the market in 23 than 22. However, the stats do not show that. Now the biggie, sales. However, before we talk about sales, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel because we're posting new videos like this every single week. On this channel, we give you the straight goods on Vernon and the whole North Okanagan, our ultimate Four Seasons paradise. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days or just curious about the area that we call home, be sure to call, text, or email and just add salt. When it comes to sales, November saw 118 units sold, whereas December experienced a slight decline, maybe more than slight, 73 units. However, comparing these figures to the same period last year, December 22, there were only 68 sales. So sales down from last month, up from last year, not by a ton, by a little bit. What I'm interested in seeing though is how many total sales there was in the North Okanagan for 2023. That number is, drumroll please, 1,696. That was fun, but that means nothing until we compare year over year. Let's look at a few years to put this all into context. 2022 year-end sales, 2,074, a decrease in sales of 18.23%. Now that feels right. There were definitely less sales in 2023 than 22. But let's look back farther. What about 21? 3,007. 2020, 2,419. Okay, how about 2019? 2,027. 2018 was 2,076. 2017 was 2,523. 2016, 2,594. 2015, 1,894. 2015 had more sales than 2023. Okay, how about 2014? Well, 1,992 in 2014. 2013, 1,555. Finally, found a year that sold less homes in the North Okanagan, but I had to go back to 2013 to find it 10 years ago. Why did this happen? What happened to 2021 where there were over 3,000 sales? And now we're almost half of that. Well, not quite. We're 56.4% actually. What does this mean? Well, it means we aren't in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. The COVID effect on the market is gone. Interest rates are no longer at 1.9% and affordability is questionable in some price ranges. In 2021, we had the best of many worlds. We had the lowest interest rates of all time. People were moving to the Okanagan like crazy because they were allowed to work remotely. So why not work somewhere where the sun's shining? Why not work somewhere awesome? Like the Okanagan, and prices, relatively speaking, compared to some of the major centers, were still reasonable. They were still affordable. Our sales activity is back to 2013 levels. 2013 was not our best year by a long shot, and I guess my message here is for sellers. We've been lucky enough that the housing supply shortage has been holding up the prices. If that supply shortage loosens up, that could put a lot of pressure on prices. Of course, we don't know where things are going to shake out. We don't know where things are going to go. However, we're going to talk about what we predict will happen in 2024 in a moment. Buyers, you want to look at prices. You want to look at how many houses there are on the market. And you want to know if interest rates are coming back down. As we know from the above statistics that we talked about for listings on the market, 999 to be exact at year end, more on the market than last year. Now let's look at those prices. Apartments, average price of one of those at 2023 year end, $235,633. Townhouses average out at $596,375. Raw land at $382,000. Single family houses came in at $728,838 on average. And now, just for fun, let's look at some other areas of the Okanagan and Shuswap. Let's start by looking at the Central Okanagan's numbers for year-end 2023 in comparison. Central Okanagan apartments, $484,254. Townhouses, 697,324, more luxury townhouses in Kelowna. Land, raw land, 411 grand. Single family, 1,005,010. And then let's go and look at the Shuswap as well. Apartments, 507,000. Townhouses in the Shuswap, 416,900. Raw land, $326,000. And single family, $731,056. Pretty much the same as the North Okanagan. Now, what is our prediction for the 2024 real estate market for the North Okanagan? Well, firstly, we saw a bit of a correction in 2023 that started to level off in the fourth quarter. Now, the reason sales started to level off in the fourth quarter is because interest rates leveled off, and the Bank of Canada maintained that overnight lending rate at 5%. And that all happened because inflation has leveled off and in fact gone down. Now, that doesn't mean prices have gone down. Inflation dropping doesn't mean prices went down. It just means that the prices aren't going up at the rate that they were previously. They're going up at a slower rate. They're still going up. In 2024, there's going to be a number of factors coming into play in the Okanagan, in Vernon specifically. There's the new short-term rental regulations coming into effect that are going to cause some folks to have to sell, thereby potentially increasing our supply of homes on the marketplace. That won't be solidified until May, though, when the regulation is finalized. Now, should things change with what is being proposed, which at this point, the regulation is really restrictive for a resort community like Vernon to demand a 90-day minimum rental period, holy cow. Anyway, that's another story. Hopefully things will change with that, but that remains to be seen. However, that could be something that affects the market. The second thing is that in the past, we in the North Okanagan have had the luxury of not being included in the speculation and vacancy tax. Kelowna was affected and Vernon came out shining like a rose, but now no longer. Now Greater Vernon is included. That could and likely will affect demand for our product in Vernon and Coldstream. Not the outskirts, but Vernon and Coldstream. And remember too, that foreign buyer ban is still on until year-end 2024. No foreign buying in our neck of the woods. Now, that particular one probably doesn't affect us all that much. However, we have personally been contacted by people who watch our YouTube videos religiously. They've watched our foreign ban video and they're asking questions about the ban, and they're from out of country folks and they want to buy here. So it does affect us, just probably not in a huge way. There's definitely some fallout. The big one though, the major factor is what are rates gonna do? Like I say, we've seen rates stabilize, thankfully, albeit at a much higher rate than folks are used to. We do expect those to start coming down in the spring. However, the caveat to all this, when I say that, please know there is no reasons for rates to ever go back to 1.9%. That was the miracle of COVID. I guess it's the only gift COVID ever gave us, was the gift of lower rates. Many buyers were able to take advantage of those rates. However, in Canada, unlike in the US, we can only lock into mortgages for 5 years. In the US, you can lock in for 30. Now, we have 30-year amortizations. However, our term, which is the length of time that we can lock in at a constant interest rate, caps out generally at 5 years. Well, some of the people who purchased at the peak when the sales were huge and the interest rates were small may have taken out a 3-year term rather than a 5. So those who bought in 2020, 2021, their mortgages in the 2020 ones have already come up, or the 2021 ones are going to come up soon for renewal at a way higher rate. Those with 5-year mortgages, they're going to be sweating it in 2024 because their 5-year mortgages are going to come up in 25 and 26. That is going to hurt a lot of people. So we may see some sell in 2024 in anticipation of that. Plus, we are unfortunately eventually going to see foreclosures. There's no way around it. There's no question we will see some foreclosures coming on the market in 24 and 25. Saying all that, though, we are still predicting a fairly balanced, lightly rising market because there's still low supply. We expect interest rates to drop in 2024. Like I say, not to 1.3%, probably not to 3% even, probably a point from where we're at, maybe a point and a half. we are preparing for no significant gains or no significant drops. So buyers, sorry, I don't think there's going to be a huge correction for you to take advantage of unless something crazy, something major happens in the world outside of what we're seeing now. Sellers, prices have already dropped. If you're hoping for 2021 pricing, that ship has sailed. It is long gone. It is not going to happen. It is time to face the reality. That about covers it. There was a ton of information here. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have any questions or need some guidance navigating the Vernon real estate market, don't hesitate to reach out. See you next month.